Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this Women Wednesday. So happy to be here with all of our speakers and co-hosts and everyone today. How is everybody doing? I mean, it feels like it's summer already outside. Geez.
Oh,
Well, my name
I'm
is
doing
Chrissy.
great. In fact, I think we're having a little bit of a technical stuff there, but I mean, to me, it's just such a beautiful day today, and I'm just so glad to be here with everyone, but also sitting outside and enjoying it.
I know. I wanted to comment on that because sometimes when Barbara sits outside, there's trees that may attack her during the live stream. So we'll wait with just making sure that doesn't. Joking. Anyway, so I'm Chrissy Souders. I'm the owner of Kitschy Wearable Art, and so happy to be here today with all of you. Let's go ahead and do some introductions for our show today because it's going to be a really good one.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Denise Roberts. I am with DR Peaceful Solutions here in Tallahassee. I am a mental health social worker / case management therapist, all of the above. I provide individual counseling, case management, employment readiness programs, along with many other things. I have been doing this ever since 2012. I've been in Tallahassee.
And hi, everyone. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Everyone was frozen to me, and I was like, am I frozen to everyone else? No? Yeah. Hi, I'm Tamara Smith, one of your hosts here on Women Wednesdays. And I'm jealous of Barbara because she can be outside. I have to hide from outside because of allergy issues. So as much as I would love to, I'm enjoying it through a window. But I'm so happy to be here with you. I am the regional director of the Panhandle for an awesome organization called One More Child. We are historically Florida Baptist Children's Homes, and our mission is simple: to provide Christ-centered services to vulnerable children and struggling families. So if you would like to know more about what we do, you can head over to onemorechild.org. We have single moms programs, foster care support, child hunger initiatives, anti-trafficking efforts, and much, much more. So find out more there at onemorechild.org. And I'm excited to join Women Wednesdays once again as we talk about rejuvenating your workforce, hiring people with disabilities. I love that we're having this conversation because we can talk about the benefits of diversifying your workforce in so many ways. And today we will talk with two wonderful ladies, and I will allow them to introduce themselves as we get started today.
All right. So I'm Amanda Lewis. I'm one of the owners of a new company in town called Future Pathways. So I'm going to be talking to everyone today just about all of the amazing benefits and advantages of hiring, like Tamara said, just diversifying your workplace, seeing what people with disabilities can offer to your workplace. So I'm happy to be here. And I'm Abby Hallett, co-owner.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, so we're getting ready to do a deep dive into your discussion, but before we do that, we're just going to quickly explain to people, in case it's their first time, what Women Wednesdays is. And so Christy's going to, start popping up a few slides. So Women Wednesdays is a program where we're just working to help each other succeed. And what's wrong with success? Is everybody for women succeeding? So we'll take that as a thumbs up yes. And we're so glad that Denise is, here with us, because that's part of the program, building a community where we're working together, getting visibility, and, just promoting and supporting the great things that women are doing in our community. So if you want to learn more about Women Wednesdays, you can go to our website at womenwednesdays.com, and please consider becoming a member and be a part of what we're trying to do. Again, just working collaboratively to see women succeed. So we've got a few things that are sort of going on. We have an internship program at Women Wednesdays, and make sure you visit our website and check out, because there are some incredible internships available right now. Some of them are paid, some are unpaid, but we also have some organizations that are hiring. So you see this internship from Florida Impact. They have an internship available, but they also have a position available. So definitely check it out. And Chrissy, I know that you have a position. In addition to the internship you're talking about, you also are hiring. Can you mention about that?
Yes, I need help, people. So,
Right.
I'm looking to hire someone in-house that can help with our customer success program and coordinating with our customers to expand and also to make art more accessible and visible in our everyday lives. So if you're interested in art and you're interested in helping artists get their art out there to the public, please give me a call. I'd be interested in talking with you.
Right. And I would say, check out Kitschy Wearable Art. It is an innovative company that's scaling and growing. And anybody that would have the opportunity to work with you would be early in on an incredible journey for a really, impactful company. So that's super cool. So, yeah, but look, Representative Allison Tant Richards, you see Florida Health Science. There's some great opportunities. And remember, internships, it doesn't matter what age you are. A lot of us are sort of thinking, oh, it's just for college students or just beyond college. No. You could be 30, 40, 50 years old and you might benefit from doing an internship. And it's also another thing, if you're a company, a small woman company, don't rule yourself out as offering an internship. Anybody. You can offer internships too. And again, they can be paid, unpaid, but it can help you in your organization and help a person who needs some experience. So we'll just hop on to the next thing. I want to tell you, we were in the front page of the paper today. I don't know if people saw it, but our co-walking program was on the front page of the Tallahassee Democrat today, and we're getting a lot of little buzz about it. So what's co-walking? It's just networking and walking at the same time. And listen, we're setting up several co-walking groups. This one, we've been doing Tuesdays at 10 a.m. at Cascades Park, but they're going to be evening co-walking groups, lots of different co-walking groups. So you can, if you think about leads groups or BNI, this is just a different way of networking with people, but you exercise and network at the same time. So you get more accomplished that way. And so Chrissy, if you could go on.
Yeah, and I just want to mention, you can really, when you're doing the co-walking, you can listen to the birds, like the birds in Barbara Westcott's background.
Oh, sorry. Are they really loud?
It's okay. Sometimes we have birds that hop on. We also have cats that have hopped on as well, too. So, anything goes. But this is something I'm really excited to talk about here.
Yeah. Well, because Women Wednesdays is looking for sponsors of our program to make it a sustainable program. And I want to just be so grateful to Ime Hutt with Golden Lighting. She's become a champion sponsor of Women Wednesdays, and that just enables us to do what we're doing. So if Chrissy, you go to the next slide, if anybody wants to sponsor, we have multiple ways for organizations to become a sponsor, whether an ally, a friend, a hero, or a champion. But right now, our two champion sponsors are Golden Lighting and the Tallahassee Office of Economic Vitality, and we just couldn't be more grateful. So, and then I don't know we'll save this for the end, Chrissy. How about that? We'll talk about that at the end. So at this moment, let's head back to Abby and Amanda. And, let's get started. Go ahead. Chrissy's going to get up your slide deck, but go ahead, take it away. Let's hear from you.
All right. So like we said, we're excited just to kind of talk to everyone. We know that, as business owners, diversifying your workplace, hiring anybody is a risk. We don't want there to be any barriers for people with disabilities to experience in the workplace. And we're ready to break down those barriers and educate business owners that, it's not a scary thing to hire someone with a disability. Let's just, break through and get those people employed. So we're excited to share that information with you today. So like we said, we're Amanda Lewis and Abigail Hallett. Just a little background. We used to be special education teachers for about 6 years with the school system. We absolutely loved it. But something that was a little bit unfortunate was we noticed that when our students were graduating from the school system, public law says that people with disabilities can go to school till the age of 22. Well, when they're graduating at that age of 22, it's like, what's next? Some of them were not college bound, but they don't want to be sitting at home. They want to be doing stuff. So we decided to create Future Pathways to kind of open up some extra pathways for them after high school.
So like Amanda said, we're here to tell you what the advantages of hiring people with disabilities. I think this is very relevant right now. We're seeing it all over the news. We're seeing it all over town. Everybody is hiring, especially for entry-level positions. And Amanda's going to tell you a little bit about the population we're going to be talking about today, the subgroup of people with disabilities we'll be talking about. But there's just tons and tons of openings. We're talking to business owners all of the time that they just can't find either enough applicants or they can't find applicants that do a good job after they hire them. So we're going to tell you why hiring people with disabilities is a good way to overcome some of those barriers that you're experiencing.
Definitely, yeah. And if we can kind of pop back really quick, I want to touch on some of our all-stars here. So any pictures that you see in our presentation are actual clients that are working right now. They're all their own guardians, or their parents have said that we can use their information for this presentation. So go ahead and reach out to these business owners and give them a pat on the back. We've got Paul's Pest Control has hired a young man with Down syndrome to help with their office cleaning, some organization in the office and things like that. And then we also have a young lady named Reagan with Down syndrome that works at Radiology Associates. And she actually works at the front desk and helps deliver paperwork throughout the office. She calls clients back when it's time for their screening. So yeah, these have been two amazing employers that have already jumped onto this trend and hired some people with disabilities.
Well, can I ask you a quick question? I was thinking you're engaging with businesses to get them to hire people with disabilities, but you're created as a business too. So can you kind of speak about how you started this business? Because you're an LLC, right?
Yes.
So, go ahead. I'm
with a lot of help and advice. So
I want to hear a little bit about that first.
Yeah. Okay. So Amanda and then I had it had been a dream in the back of our mind, kind of like that, pie in the sky. Wouldn't it be cool if we could own our own business and help older people with disabilities? And so we had talked about it for a really long time. Her dad owns her own business, and both of my parents each own small businesses, and we have friends that do. So it was a lot of asking advice, talking with people, talking with accountants, just getting advice from different people in the community, I would say is probably one big thing. And then we did it part-time for a long time.
Yeah, we started off part-time, teachers, before this nice little raise they got recently in Florida, but we were working on the side to kind of make a little bit of extra money. So we actually became certified job coaches through a state agency, and we did that after school. And we just kept thinking, wow, this is, we're reaching people that are in their 30s and their 40s that haven't had a service provider, and they've been sitting at home not doing anything. I can't imagine how many more people there are like this. And then we found out that it was such an untapped population of people that needed help, and we just decided to go for it. And we just went full speed ahead last June, and we opened up our LLC.
What counties are you serving?
Great question. We're actually just drove in from Quincy this morning. And she was in Jefferson County. So right now we're serving Gadsden, Leon, and Jefferson.
And
Wakulla. Yep.
And so how do you reach your clients and, connect with your clients?
So some of it we are registered with, which we're going to talk about, some of the supporting agencies that have funding. Thank you, Molly Norman. We have some supporting agencies that have funding, and they have clients that need our services. And also too, it's really, word of mouth. It's going to, partnering with other disability agencies. We partner with the Down Syndrome Association of Tallahassee. We partner with APD, Career Source, some of these other employment readiness programs. And we're kind of fitting that niche to help that population for people with disabilities.
That's perfect, because if you can do what you love, make a business out of it, that's amazing. So yeah. So anyway, you go right ahead. Continue with your presentation.
All right.
Next slide.
So like we said, the population that we're kind of targeting, we know that, disability, that word covers a lot of different abilities. There are so many different types of disabilities out there, but our presentation today and some of the points that we're going to tap into are focusing on the advantages of hiring people with intellectual disabilities and people that are on the autism spectrum. These disabilities make up a pretty large population of the clients that we work with, and we found that they're highly capable and highly qualified to do a lot of the positions that are being advertised right now.
And probably more towards the moderate side of autism, not Asperger's. It's not really talking about people that fit that entry level, looking for entry level work right now.
Yeah.
So benefits of hiring this population. These are just 5. There's a lot more, but tax incentives. There's a federal tax incentive for hiring a person with a disability. We're going to talk about lower turnover rates, especially in the positions that a lot of people with disabilities are filling right now. People with intellectual disabilities are filling. It's typically some jobs that have a high turnover rate. Special funding from supporting agencies. We're going to tell you how, as business owners, you can get the first between 60 to 320 hours of wages paid sometimes by an agency before you start paying, which is great. Better workplace culture. We're going to hear from a local business owner about how hiring people with disabilities has changed his workplace culture. And then we're also going to talk about increased innovation and workplace morale.
Yeah.
I understand that you're speaking in reference to the different benefits of the owners that hire persons with disabilities. Can you talk a little bit about what it has done to an individual after you have hired them? Talk about their self-esteem and their confidence level and how that has helped drive them.
I am really glad that you wanted to touch on that because that is not something I think we even included. So it is life-changing. I mean, it's life-changing for us. I mean, look at us all, like we're thriving. We are employed. We love what we do. It's a foundation for our life. We see that when we get, I have goosebumps just talking about it. When we get our clients jobs, they have ownership. They have purpose. They're not fully dependent on anyone. You know, it's their thing. They do it. That's really what we see. And then once they've got that, they've got the tools and the confidence to go and do other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like in the types of jobs we're seeing, like that it's life-changing. Like we have clients that are like dishwashers, or they're doing some cleaning. They have all these different types of jobs that I think a lot of times are taken for granted. But for our clients, it's like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing this. And I think it's really important for families too, because they weren't always told that, you know, my son or daughter is going to grow up and have a job. Like Reagan's mom wasn't told that she was going to be wearing scrubs to work every day, calling patients back, interacting with doctors. You know what I mean?
And now she works a 30-hour-a-week job with benefits. The relief too from the family is that, you know, they've had this child that maybe had some struggles when they were younger, and maybe they weren't quite sure what the future was going to hold. But, you know, finding that niche and finding something they're passionate about to give them a meaningful life changes them completely. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes. And one more question. I am a person with a disability myself. I'm visually impaired. And I'd like for you to speak in terms to the liability. One thing about hiring a person with a disability, how do you see the people that you've already hired? How do you see them as very reliable and coming to work consistently? I mean, you get that a lot with persons with disabilities because of the fact that it's so hard to hire someone with disability. And once you do hire them, it's the consistency of that person and the reliability. How do you see that in your job aspect of hiring persons with disabilities?
That's why we love them.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the presentation, some like concerns that employers have, and that does pop up a lot. They're like, what about the liability? But hiring anyone with anybody is a liability, right? And I think with us, almost you get less because they come with a job coach, which we'll touch on a little bit later. You have someone that's worked with your potential employee for a really long time, knows them really well, has seen them in a lot of different environments. So you kind of bypass, hiring anyone is a risk, but you can kind of bypass a little bit of that liability when you hire someone that, comes with a job coach, comes with a supporting agency. You can really kind of make sure they're a better fit, because some things that will cause, liability in a company are are bad, if it's a bad fit or you don't know the employee very well, but you can kind of bypass that when you work with an
Yes, I'm speaking in terms of the consistency. One thing about hiring a person with a disability is they're going to come to work because they're excited about being at work.
Yes.
So that's basically what I was getting at.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they really, our clients are typically, 15, 20 minutes early because they're ready to be at work. They've got it on their planner. And that's, that, like I said before, they just take ownership of the position, maybe more so than a typical person would, because they're so grateful for the opportunity.
They're not falling into work like maybe some of us have. They're working to get there, which I think makes a big difference.
Yeah, their heart is in it. Their heart is absolutely in it. Yes.
And also finding people are finding their independence as well too, which is extremely important when you reach that time in your life, when you come out of the, childhood, teenage years to adulthood. And that independence is something that is super important, and which is why I think your guys' program is major, and we have such a huge deficit all around the United States, maybe in the world. But let's get into the benefits as far as what Denise was referring to, why it's beneficial to hire someone who may have some disabilities.
Absolutely. We're ready to share those with you. So like we said, the tax incentives, it really depends on, how many people a business owner hires or how long they're employed there. But it can be a nice little, piece of money. It's between $1,200 and $9,600 per employee. And if that is something that you're interested in, if you are a business owner, you can simply just go to the IRS website. They've got a whole page on the work opportunity tax credit. And that is something that you can look into as an advantage.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about before, the lower turnover rate. That's Connor. He was in a magazine a few years ago, actually. He's about to celebrate his 4th year at CARE Behavioral Group. It's a local autism clinic and inclusive preschool. They're really wonderful. Shout out to CARE. And he is an office assistant there, which in the past was kind of high turnover rate. He's an office assistant. Usually it's taken by people that maybe want to become behavior therapists at CARE. So they're there for just a little while and then they're moving on. Or maybe a high school student or college student that can, work less hours because he works about 8 to 10 hours a week. A lot of our clients might have a lower work stamina. They're doing really well while they're there, but a 4 or 5 hour shift might be what they need. So having Connor in their workplace really just stabilize that position a lot, which we're finding with a lot of positions. Like we have a young man that works at Nothing But Cakes and dishwashers. Like it's impossible to find a dishwasher. It just is. No matter how great you are, we work with really great employers. It's hard to find people that will do that type of work and want to keep doing it. So if you have a position that traditionally has a high turnover rate because of things that are a lot of out of your control, like college students, high school students, retirees, looking to fill them with some people with disabilities is really good.
Yes. Yeah. And he is passionate about that office assistant job. Let me tell you, he scans all of the employee pay stubs. He sanitizes all of the play equipment for the kids because CARE is a clinic for people with autism. So again, that's a business owner that does early intervention for people with disabilities. And then they also have a person with a disability working in their office. So what better way to practice what you preach? So we love that organization, and they've set up a really great foundation for Connor. So like we said, there's a lot of special funding. Abby and I started off with a state agency called Agency for Persons with Disabilities. They have a plethora of services if you qualify, from job coaching to supported living services to companionship. So these are state and federal dollars that need to be spent. They've been allocated for internships, for job coaches. And this funding could potentially cover the cost of a paid internship. That's how our salary was covered for a little while, was that state funding. We also, our clients' career source will fund up to over $300 worth.
300 hours.
Yeah, 300 hours. I'm sorry. So more than $300. Over 300 hours of work that our clients can do in an internship. So there's funding out there, and we want people to know about that funding and ask about that funding if it is accessible.
So this is just an example. We're former teachers, so we like visuals. This is an example of how you can utilize these services and how a person with a disability and Future Pathways can utilize all of these opportunities. So this is Tori. She currently works at Publix. In the fall, she is starting the nail technician at Lively Technical College. They have a new program for people with intellectual disabilities called the SOAR program. And she wants to be a nail technician. So she had an internship at Millennium Nail and Day Spa. So we went to Millennium Nail and Day Spa and said, hey, will you provide some work for this young lady? They said, yes. APD, we said, hey, will you pay her to work here? They said, yes. Tori said, I'll do it. So she did the work, and then we came in and trained her.
Yeah. We love using this. It gives the client an opportunity to try something hands-on. We all need to try things before we actually know that we want to go into that field. And so then the employer gets to see them in action, and then the client gets to see if they actually even like that job. So that's a really great thing we love to take advantage of. So again, just more things that our supporting agencies can cover. So that's a picture of me in the back kitchen of Blaze Pizza with one of our clients on the autism spectrum named Jacob. And Jacob on Sundays does all the food prep in the back for Blaze Pizza. So he makes all the sauces, he prepares all the toppings to be ready, washes the vegetables, cuts the vegetables. So this is one of my Sunday shifts. I go in, I make sure he understands. There's actually Blaze has provided, you can kind of see it on that picture, an iPad where it has visuals of every step-by-step thing that how the food needs to look when it's chopped up. So that's a lot of restaurants food prep. They've already got the visuals made, and they work great for our clients to see exactly what the food needs to look like. So kudos to Blaze Pizza as well. But yeah, this is just kind of a list of things we can do. We can help with all that new employee paperwork that's confusing, assist them with their clocking in and clocking out procedures, making sure their transportation plan is set. A lot of our clients use something called Dial-A-Ride or Big Bin Transit. So training them on how to use the bus system. We help them, come up with a uniform and dress code. Vocational rehabilitation can pay for those uniforms. What were the size shoes that we had to get Jacob? Size 19?
It was something.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Jacob is over 6 feet tall, and he's got,
and his brother got a job like at the exact same time and needed work shoes too.
Yeah.
He's another client. So it was like, oh, thank God that
So,
something agency can pay for it.
Yeah, those are things that our agencies can pay for. Do they need help buying their uniform? Do they need help buying non-slip shoes? Those can be expensive. So we were able to get that for Jacob. We helped, train the boss and the coworkers. Hey, here are the ways that you can work with Jacob. This is what helps him. And then social skills training. Sometimes bosses are concerned about the social skills aspect, how our clients are going to interact with everyone. And so we go in and help them learn how to do that too.
I'm glad you spoke to that, because that's something I was thinking about. I'm nodding my head and smiling a lot because in a former position, I had the pleasure of being at Tallahassee Community College in the Student Services Department and worked with Equal Connections there.
Yay!
So did we.
Yes, and just about every semester we had a student that was working within the Student Services Department with me, and just many of the things you're talking about, I experienced firsthand having them join our staff. But I'm glad you spoke to something that you were talking about just now, in that you help the employer with that new employee, helping them, allowing that person to be successful. So if there's you're helping them along the way, because I was thinking, as I hope many people that are watching are not just watching, but sharing or getting ready to share this later on with more business owners and colleagues and friends and family that just need to really see this conversation. But I could just see a concern coming up of, is my business organization ready to do this? And are there things that a future employer needs to do to prepare to start supporting somebody with disabilities on their staff?
Yeah, that's something we've done before. We've had people just reach out and say, I'm not sure. Like we hear a lot, like, I've never worked with people with disabilities, which is fine. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll just say, we don't know if you've got a spot. You want us to come in? We can take a look around. You can tell us what kind of work you have. And we can say, hey, yeah, I think we have a client that might be a really great fit. I think you guys are a great environment. We would love to help you out, or, oh, maybe not right now, right? So that's something we're really open to doing, just having a really open conversation, because I think sometimes people are afraid to, they don't want to be offensive. Yeah, that's a really big thing.
Yeah.
But we're open to just saying, yeah.
Have you ever thought about, I know years ago when I worked with, persons with intellectual disabilities, I made it as a package deal when I actually spoke with the employer and got the employer's incentive to hire. I made that as part of their package deal. Part of the package deal is we'll come in and we'll talk with you 30 minutes, maybe a week or whatever, to do some training so that you can be aware of what's going on and talking about social skills. And if I have a person that has an intellectual disability that does not allow him to look directly at someone, what can we do to help you with that? So I have offered that. Do you offer that as well, and kind of make that as a package deal when you're speaking with your employees in reference to hiring persons with disabilities?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's been a huge thing. I mean, the state agencies pay us to be there, so we're there, and we want to do whatever we can. We do a lot of listening at the beginning with the hiring manager. Tell us what your concerns are. We show up a lot at the beginning. A client could be doing perfectly on the first day, and we still drop in and say, hey, how are things going? What questions do you have? What can we help you with? Trying to create an open relationship where please ask questions. We're happy to come and do, an employee training at your next, employee, all employee meetings.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah. We actually just, recently we did a disability sensitivity training for the Florida bar. So that is something I'm really glad you brought that up, because that we want businesses to know that, it's okay to have questions. It's okay to be hesitant, but we're here to help you understand a little bit better, how you can accommodate that person with a disability.
Right. And can I don't know if you're going to get to this in the conversation, but I'm just kind of curious, like with Denise, for people that don't have an intellectual disability, like, she's visually impaired, and I can tell just from the little bit of time I've known Denise, I mean, she is just on top. She's so capable and so on top of things. So, like, how do you differentiate that? Like, people because, like, there could be bias. It could be someone they're just amazing, but sometimes there's bias that impacts their abilities. People's bias about disability when they're just amazing. So, are you going to be talking about that, or is that something you can address, or?
Kind of just address it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we've experienced or our clients have experienced some of that in the past. Something that we do a lot, I guess we are going to address it a little bit, is showing the employers what they can do. We have visual portfolios. They can see all of the different places that our clients have interned. Okay, hey, will you just let us come in for a job shadow just so we can kind of see the work? Will you let us come in just for a working interview, just so we can practice, even if it's just practicing interview skills? So a lot of, can we just show you what they can do, I think is something that we do a lot. And then just trying to create more like awareness. I think we use social media a lot, like showing pictures of what our clients are doing all over town. I think it's important for people to see it. And I hope that, Tallahassee has been so open and inclusive of our clients. I'm hoping that as people see it, maybe those biases will start to fade away.
What do you think about that, Denise? Does that resonate with you in any way?
Well, I was just getting ready to ask her, have you ever thought about offering maybe, even with the employers, on the job program? Sometimes I know for myself, when I first got my very first state job, I actually went and volunteered with the state. And in 5 weeks later, they were so ecstatic they hired me. So I think sometimes it's the firsthand experience that people are looking for. Can she do the work? Is she capable of doing the work? And if you're actually sitting there showing them, because I came every day from 8 to 5, just like a regular employee would do, and show them that I could do the work. And they were like, we got to hire her. So do you
Exactly.
offer that type of program for your clients as well? You know, perhaps maybe an OJT program, and perhaps tap into getting other people to pay for that program, like voc rehab and things of that nature?
Yes.
Really good question.
Yes, absolutely. That is, and you hit the nail on the head. It's all about getting your foot in the door, proving to them that you can do it. And then, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You know, you're there, you're doing the job. They really have no reason not to hire you. It's less of a risk once you've seen that. So actually, we were just talking about trying to set up, we partner with the Jefferson County Humane Society in Monticello, and they have seen the amazing work that our one client has done, that they've actually asked, hey, is there something that we could work out? Can we get some more of them out here? So we're trying to maybe set up an internship program at some different employer sites right now, but we always recommend volunteering first, just like you did. We've seen that to be, you know, we had to volunteer for years before we got our positions. So yeah, we definitely see the value in that. Absolutely.
And back to what Barbara was asking earlier, I highly recommend employment readiness programs, not just for intellectual disabilities, but just for, you know, all disabilities, especially coming out of high school, because there's just a lot of things that sometimes, you know, even myself as a visually impaired person, it's not that you're not educated enough, it's just the unseen thing that you don't see, the behind the scene things. And to be able to get out there and know how to dress, know how to do this, know how to do that employment program, readiness program is like the way to go.
Absolutely. We fully agree.
And we have a question from Judith, who's watching. Hi, Judith.
Hi.
She says, hey, Abby and Amanda, I have a potential student for SOAR in Wakulla County who will need transportation. Will any of the supporting agencies listed provide that?
So Judith is the new executive director of that program at Lively Tech that we were talking about. Yes, Judith, vocational rehabilitation. We'll connect via email and get you that information. We'll send you the application.
Yes.
Yeah, vocational rehabilitation will pay for it, and you can help them fill out the application so it's all ready to go.
Yep, and usually they'll disseminate it in the form of tokens. Dial-A-Ride, they'll give you some Dial-A-Ride tokens, and the client can just hand over the token, and that'll cover the transportation. So we'll get with you on that. Thank you, Judith.
I'll write that down right now.
All right. So again, this is just kind of a visual of some of those agencies that we use, and we can move on to the next slide there, Chrissy.
Yeah. So this is another example, another visual of using a lot of different agency supports. So it's a picture of Mingdi, one of our former students and current clients. And then around the edge, there's arrows pointing to the different agencies that we've used, or that he used in order to become independent and employed. So he started off at the ACE transition program. It was a school-based transition program, and there he got his first internship and his first job. So he started off interning somewhere, and then Leon County Schools hired him. He did really great, and APD paid a little bit for him to start off that job, and then voc rehab funded a job coach from the school to come in during the day and help him. And then when he was ready for his next job, he did a 320-hour internship at Career Source. And through that experience, he found out he did not really like office work. So it was still successful because he found out what he didn't like. Career Source is amazing. So he ended up getting a job at the Florida Bar. And now he receives job coaching from Future Pathways from us, funded by APD. So that's just a nice visual of how you can use all of these different services. And as employers, because we're talking to employers today, you're not responsible for knowing that and moving those pieces. You can work with an agency like us, and we will move the pieces and hand you the paperwork to sign.
I can relate with Mingdi. I'm not much for, office work either.
No, he's obsessed with his job now. He does like maintenance and cleaning, and he says he wants to die at the Florida Bar. So in many years, but yeah, he's like, I love it here. So he's really great.
He's working 30 hours a week. I mean, he started off as a little volunteer when we had him as a student, and then he just slowly worked his way up to a 30-hour-a-week job, which is pretty amazing.
We have an actually very interesting question from Caroline Collins. Hey, Caroline. Abby and Amanda, do you train clients to work as caregivers and or companions for the elderly or others in need of assistance? There seems to be a shortage of caregivers available locally for hire within the home health agencies.
I really like that idea. I think we have some clients that would be really good with that. We were actually talking to one of our friends that uses a wheelchair the other day, and she has a 19-year-old son with Down syndrome. And so she got into an accident and became paralyzed. And she said she was amazed at like how her son with Down syndrome just immediately went into like caregiver mode. She was like, it was almost like I could do everything for him that he couldn't do because he had his intellectual disability. And then he could do everything for me that I couldn't do. So I think that's definitely in the wheelhouse, and we can look into it. If you want to send us an email, maybe we can connect and look into that.
Well, and I like how Caroline shared that. So maybe is that like a sort of a new idea? Because like that's the neat part of collaboration. People think of things you might not have thought of it. So is that sort of a new, like, no, we hadn't?
Yeah, because I don't think you need any certifications if you're home healthcare. So maybe we could connect with an agency that has a lot of openings, and maybe connect. Probably what we do is connect with the agency, talk with them about what do you need in a good caregiver, and see if we can match up their needs with our client needs and come up with something.
So my 97-year-old father-in-law has moved in with us. He fell and broke his hip, but he's doing better. But I can totally see what Caroline is talking about.
Yeah.
He just needs some companionship, but B, just someone to help getting little things. And I mean, I just could see what a great, I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah, wheels are turning, and he really, we partnered with Elder
Caroline.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say we partnered with Elder Care Services before, and we love helping. We've helped out at Elder Day Stay. We've done Meals on Wheels, and so that's kind of, and our kids loved it. So I definitely want to reach back out to that idea.
Have you ever thought about the peer specialist, where you have one of your very high functioning intellectual disabilities can actually help another person? Peer specialist is actually a very good program to intertwine with, especially with another person that has the same disability that can relate to that person.
I love it. We've done that some with some of our, we used to work with a lot of people with Asperger's, and we had one man in particular, was really amazing. Yeah, just like really enjoyed working with that population. I love that idea.
It's Danny.
Danny. We love Danny. So this is just a quote from Danny. He's really wonderful. He says, hiring employees with disabilities reinforces the attitude of respect and dignity we strive for in our company. All of our employees know they are valued as individuals, and having coworkers with disabilities only reinforces our commitment to diversity and inclusion. So we love Danny. He hires all types of people. I think he probably has like 100 employees. And he came and spoke at a talk similar we were giving to the chamber a few years ago, and just talked, like he got up and like, I'm not going to say it as eloquently as he did, but he's like, I'm not a charity, I'm a business. I don't have time to mess around. Like I have to get money, and I have people with disabilities that are great workers and come and show up. Of course I'm going to hire them. So he's talking about workplace culture here, but he's also talked about like, this isn't a charity, like, and workplace culture is something that we've heard has increased. Like culture is just better once you have a diverse
workplace.
Yeah. Whether it's disability, race, gender, it's all.
Yeah, businesses have that disclaimer that they are a diverse workplace. They say they follow ADA. So we want to help you fill that. We want to help you meet that expectation that you've set. You know what I mean? And Danny is he's always open to talking to other business owners about ways to work with people with disabilities and how great they can be for your company.
And ladies, I would say with as much as you have shown today that you are there to support employers in these many different workplaces in so many ways. You talked about actually being there to work with your clients while they're working. You talked about, providing some insight before they get started so they're more comfortable. I'm going to reiterate, I really want us to share this conversation even after, we're no longer live, because as employers, there has to be kind of an opening up that happens. You have to be open to this new experience. If we could just think more about the benefits of introducing a new dynamic to the workplace in this way, and less about, well, I'm not sure. It may make you a little uncomfortable at first, but just think about, the ladies have talked about all of the benefits of really doing this. And I'm so glad that you had like a testimonial there, really, of how this has only enhanced his workplace's culture.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just
Right, and like,
go for it. Oh, I thought someone was going to say something.
oh, well, I was going to say, I was just going to say, because it's proven the more diverse a company is generally more successful. But I was also thinking that, sometimes it's just not on your radar. Like sometimes just getting more awareness out there. It's like, oh yeah, I would love to do that.
Absolutely. And that's why we're so happy
Just
to
like,
be able
oh,
to
I just didn't even think of it. I didn't have it on my radar.
Exactly. Yeah, it really is just not on people's radar. And once they're educated about it, they're like, oh yeah, absolutely, we need to do that now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I want to put this
like, that's
out
a great
there.
thing. Yeah.
I want to put this out there. I know someone, Betty Proctor. She's amazing. Actually, she was just on the news yesterday. Obsessions Gift Shop in Railroad Square Art District,
We met her.
and she is hiring people with disabilities. And so that is a direct link and a referral to you right here, speaking into existence on Women Wednesdays. I think that would be a great collaboration.
Yeah, she's amazing in her shops. Everything she's doing is amazing. So again, someone be very lucky to work with her.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah,
Yes.
we'll stop by, go get a drink at Railroad Square.
Yeah.
Stop by. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, and we're gonna have Women Wednesdays is gonna have a networking event at Railroad Square Craft House soon. So yeah, that's like such. Chrissy's there now, and Obsessions Jewelry. I mean, is there and gifts and jewelry. So cool place. Yeah.
Yeah, twist our arm. We'll be there. So like we said, people with disabilities have increased innovation. I mean, they have to be creative to adapt and change with the world around them. They're constantly problem solving. So that can be applied to the workplace. Our students think of ways to do things that we would have never thought of as the job coach, but they're used to having to problem solve. And so business owners have told us that their innovation has increased from them. And then again, I always love, morale, especially our little guy, Connor. He has the one that works at Care Behavioral Group. So he has a disability, which he'll tell everybody. He has a disability called Williams syndrome. And it causes like an overflow of happy brain chemicals. And so he is actually very, very, very happy all the time. He's very happy-go-lucky. And I mean, the people that work there say that, when I know Connor's at work, I know I'm going to have a good day. And so it's pretty amazing. Yes.
All right. So Amanda and I, before we put this presentation together, we sent out a survey to business owners that had hired people with disabilities before, and then business owners that haven't, just people that we know. We use our parents, please send this out to, your leads groups and BNI, help us figure this out. What are business owners concerned about? What are they worried about? And that's something we talk a lot about to people because we want to make sure we understand the business community. And these are 6 things that they listed that were concerns. And so we want to touch on them. And just talk to business owners about anything that they might be a little bit worried about. So the interview process, accommodations, training, matching skill set to job needs, communication barriers, and then honesty and high expectations were all things that we wanted to touch on. Perfect.
So we're going to kind of go through these quickly just for time purposes, but the interview process doesn't have to be your typical question answer sitting at a desk interview. That's typically not the best way, I don't think, for anyone to really represent their skill set. And, it can cause a lot of anxiety to where, you're not communicating your best. So we always try to make a visual portfolio, like Abby mentioned before, where we actually include pictures of things that our clients are doing, whether it's at a volunteering or a OJT, a job site, whatever, even daily living skills that they do at their home, emptying and loading the dishwasher, doing their laundry. Those are transferable work skills. So if we can show that in a portfolio, the employer is going to see, oh, wait, I need someone to help me with that. You can do that. And sometimes we just carve out a position from those skills that our clients have. So visual portfolios have helped a lot. And then working interviews. So actually, like we said before, asking if they can come in for a shadow, asking if you can have some tasks set up for our clients to try, and then, see it for yourself that they are capable of doing it. That's a different way to try an interview for sure.
Absolutely. especially for some jobs that don't require communication, like dishwashing. Like Jason, who's in the last screen, he doesn't need, his communication skills don't really matter, but it matters that he likes dishwashing and he's good at dishwashing. And so he came in, did his working interview, and okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and he doesn't like people, so it's a good job.
Yep. Great dishwasher.
Yeah.
And that's nothing but cake. So definitely support them. They're wonderful. Accommodations is something people were worried about. Am I going to have to buy extra equipment? What about accommodations? Like, what am I going to run into issues with ADA? We have never, so we handle accommodations if someone needs something, and it's usually just like a visual checklist. So maybe you give your employees a list of things they need to do that day, and they have to do it every day, right? Like they've got a cleaning list. So we just add pictures for non-readers, things like that. An accommodation, maybe we had a young man who couldn't use a vacuum with a cord. It was a mess. It was everywhere. He has a little bit of trouble with like fine motor. So it was like cords were everywhere. It was a mess. So we were going to reach out like, oh, we'll just ask Voc Rehab to buy him a cordless vacuum. And I think the business ended up doing it first. So those are the types of accommodations that might be made. But really nothing ever costs any money. And we do all of the legwork to make sure it's, the environment's a good fit, the building's a good fit, all of that before they even start working.
Yeah, which I'm sure, Denise, you could probably, if any accommodations, do you feel like, what would your feedback be on accommodations for work?
Well, I like the idea that you check it out first, because there are sometimes, especially if you're in need of things like equipment or, a computer stuff, this day and time, a lot of things are done and operated by a computer. And if there was a need for a computer or whatever the need was, it just depends on what level that person is and what program he's in, because there are numerous of programs out here that can help pay for some accommodations, and they're all based on where you are in your disability.
Exactly.
For instance, like with me as a visually impaired woman, I would have to tap into things like the Vision of Blind services or Voc Rehab, and I'm sure there are plenty of Medicaid waivers for the intellectual disabilities as well.
Yep, you're exactly right. Yeah. So we just learning how to use those supports if they're needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like we said, we all need visuals. We all use our calendars. We all use our notes on our phone. People with disabilities are no different. Their visuals might just look a little different than ours. Maybe it's a Braille visual checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it has images for people that aren't great readers. One huge thing with training is finding naturally supportive people in the workplace. So, when me and Abby talked together, she was my natural support. We all have kind of a buddy at work that helps us. So as an employer, as the boss, pairing people up, okay, maybe you have someone on your staff that would love to kind of take this person under their wing and show them the ropes. So finding those key people that are natural supports for our clients.
All right. Oh, matching skill set to job needs. So that was another thing. What if the person can't do the work? And if you're working with a good agency, a good job coach, like that's not really a concern, because you're getting someone that's doing all of it. You're getting the job coach too. You're getting future pathways too. So you're getting someone that's gone to volunteer sites with with your potential employee. They've put together portfolios. They've done interviews with parents. They've done hands-on assessments. They've done pen and paper assessments. So you're really, the risk, I think, is kind of mitigated. Like we'll kind of take care of that stuff. We'll make sure the skill set meets the needs. And then you can go through your typical training, how you would do with any other employee, and we'll provide.
Yeah, because I would think that most employees have that 90-day probation period in most jobs anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's what you can tap into the job settings and, et cetera.
Yeah. And we'll say sometimes if it's someone's first job, hey, we'll do job coaching. We'll get APD to pay for the first 60 hours. Let's try it out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what do you have to lose situation if people are a little bit concerned and can start off slow and work them into it.
Yes. Thank you, Pamela. So yeah, just kind of make sure that we always make sure that the job is a fit. Whenever, we want to place our clients in jobs that they're going to be successful in. Yeah. So, more hands-on tasks, sometimes they're better. Organizing tasks without strict limits. And then again, all of our clients have different strengths. They might be really good at repetitive stuff. They might be really good at problem solving. So it really just depends on them. All right. So communication barriers. Are we okay on time, Chrissy? I just want to make sure.
this our last slide, or is it one more?
You're muted, Barbara.
This one and the next one.
I only
so we are coming up to the 5-minute mark here where we but if you have
but we still have a few more minutes. You're doing good. I don't
okay. That was pretty much communication barriers was something people are concerned about. And I think we've touched on that. Like, we'll help you overcome that. And sometimes it's just like getting used to communicating in a different way. Like Jason the dishwasher doesn't really like small talk. So don't be concerned that he's not making small talk with you. Just know that he's not really a small talk guy. So sometimes just explaining.
Yeah. And, not being easily offended. And, sometimes our clients, and that's something we have to remind bosses and coworkers of too. They might say, wow, they kind of sounded rude. And we just have to remind them, okay, they're very honest. And, we sometimes have to, that's a coaching issue. Sometimes we have to go back to our clients and say, it's good to be honest, but, you still have to be careful. So that's where we come in with that social skills training. Using clear and direct language. However, you always are respectful of their age as an adult, and you never want to assume that their level of intelligence. Just because someone has a physical disability doesn't necessarily mean that there's also an intellectual disability, and vice versa. So it's best to just make sure you ask the person, hey, what helps you? How do you learn best? How can I help you? And then giving choices rather than asking open-ended questions. So if Abby's my client, hey, would you like to start with your organizing today, or do you want to start with cleaning?
I'll start.
Okay. Instead of saying, what do you want to start with today? So just giving those clear, direct choices is helpful.
All right. And then the last one is honesty and high expectations. Hiring people with disabilities is not a charity. It's not your do good act for the year. It's good business. It's a good thing to do. And it should be a good way to fill a need in your business. It should help you further succeed in your business. So keep high expectations. Be honest. If you've got a job coach and maybe your employees that's working with them needs a little bit of extra help and you're not sure how to help them, be honest. These are some concerns I'm having. And just know that it's good to have high expectations, no matter what someone's ability level is. Expectations high.
And we always say, sometimes people lose jobs. That's a life lesson. You know what I mean? Like when I was young and maybe not taking my job as seriously, I lost a job and, I learned from it. So we treat our clients as the people that they are. They're no less. They are people. They deserve the same experiences that we have. Sometimes that requires some hard life lessons, but we're still going to help them along the way and support them. So if you need to contact us or you're interested in hiring someone with a disability, we're happy to help. And there's our contact information.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much. I mean, this has been a wealth of information. And, so glad you're doing the work you're doing. And I hope that we can help spread awareness and get it on the radar for people about how important it is to hire people with disabilities. So thank you.
And if you're a business owner and you're just wondering, we can come out, see your business, let you know if we've got somebody that might be a good fit.
Yeah. We've carved out positions before when employers have said, oh, well, this is a need I have and this is a need I have. Well, let's combine those and let's create a position, and we'll help you create that position, create the job duties, train them up. So we're here to help. Just, think about it.
Well, kudos to you for creating such a valuable business that helps other people, but also lets you do and work in something that you're passionate about and really, really good at. So, and then let me just throw it to Denise real quick. Denise, did you have any closing comments you wanted to make before we signed off today?
I just want to thank Future Pathways for coming. I've enjoyed speaking with you all, and you've gave us a lot of wealth of knowledge, and I'm excited for you in the community. And if there's anything that I can do to be of help with you, please let me know.
We'll be reaching out.
We will, because we just got a client that has a vision impairment, so we will reach out to you.
Well, that's wonderful. So again, thank you, everybody. This has been a wonderful and I think a really important conversation, and I hope it's opened some opportunities for some people with disabilities in our community. So we're just going to go to next week. So look, we're pretty excited. Next week, we're going to have Bernice Cox with us. She's the executive director of the United Way of the Big Bend, and she's going to be talking about baby steps, the steps you take to face change, adversity, fears, challenges. So I just know it's going to be a great conversation. So I hope people can circle back with us and join us again next week. But for now, I just hope everybody's doing well, staying safe, enjoying the great weather, and just have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You.